Chosen one, listen closely, because something beyond the natural is happening in your life right now. You've entered a divine moment. This is not just a season, it is a spiritual dimension where provision is no longer attached to hustle, where blessings are no longer locked behind hard labor, and where divine supply flows not by effort, but by divine favor. You have arrived at a turning point where your days of striving are ending and your days of receiving have begun. Something bigger than you, something heaven ordained, is stepping into your reality. You are being called into a new economy, one governed by grace, by favor, and by spiritual inheritance. The weight you've carried for so long, trying to make things work, trying to force open doors, trying to be strong. When everything was crumbling, God saw it all. And now the call over your life is simple but powerful. Rest and receive the provision is already arranged. So if you've been searching for a sign, if you've been waiting for a word that will pull you from the heavy burdens of survival, this is it. Watch this message until the very end and feel the divine shift taking place in your soul. You're not here by accident. You are not hearing this by chance. There's a reason why this message found you today. God is speaking directly to you. Drop your warmest wishes and 99 in the comments. This is a powerful chapter of wishes coming true and energizing the universe with alignment. Your words, your vibration, and your expectations are unlocking supernatural provision. Now chosen one, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. And let's begin from this moment on. You are being invited into a realm where God's provision is not something you work for, it's something you walk into. You don't have to force blessings anymore. Chosen one, you're not required to burn yourself out to survive. God has seen your secret labor, your tears, your sacrifices, and now He is stepping in to remind you you were never supposed to carry it alone. The systems of this world conditioned you to believe that your value was tied to how much you could do, how much you could produce, how exhausted you were at the end of the day. But heaven is now interrupting that narrative. Heaven is saying, enough, you've entered into the divine flow of provision without toil. There is a way of life, a divine reality, where supply meets you without you chasing it. You will not have to beg, you will not have to compromise, and you most certainly will not have to break yourself apart to live well. Provision will find you opportunities, will magnetize to your soul. Resources will seek you out. You are stepping into a financial dimension that functions differently. This isn't about wages anymore. This is about favor. This isn't about job titles. It's about divine identity. You are not just another person in the crowd. You are a divine appointment walking this earth, and the wealth, the help, the support, the sustenance you need, it's been circulating around you, waiting for your spiritual yes. And now that you've said yes, now that your spirit is aligned, the floodgates are opening. The wealth of the universe, the treasures of heaven, and the support you thought would never come, it is now on the way to you. And not because you earned it, but because you are chosen for it. Let that sink in. You are chosen for this provision. You were not created to toil until your soul collapses. You were created to receive the divine portion God already laid aside for you before you were even born. There is an inheritance with your name on it. Not just spiritual riches, but real, tangible provision. The type that cancels debts, pays off mortgages, sends your children to school without loans, gives you time freedom, and builds generational security. You've tried everything your way. You've grinded and pushed and prayed and waited. And now God is stepping in to say, I'm going to provide for you in ways that will shut every doubter's mouth. You're going to receive resources from unexpected places. People you don't even know are going to bless you. Money that you forgot about is going to find you. Divine deposits are being made into your life's account. Don't be surprised when everything shifts and it looks like you're receiving too much without doing anything. That's what divine provision looks like. It looks like overflow. That doesn't make sense. It looks like favor that outpaces your resume. It looks like open doors with your name already on them. The world may not understand how you're being blessed, but that's because the world didn't ordain your blessing. God did. And when God provides it, silences every voice that said you wouldn't make it. So prepare your heart to receive, not just once, not just occasionally, but consistently. Provision is going to become your new normal. You will wake up every day covered, supplied, supported. Your pantry will not go empty. Your bank account will no longer cry for help. Your body will not be worn out from anxiety. You will rest and still see abundance. This new season in your life does not require more effort. It requires more trust. And you've been trained for this. Every struggle prepared you for this level of ease. Every breakdown was a training ground for this elevation. You're not lazy, you're aligned. And alignment with divine timing creates supernatural flow. You're going to find that the less you try to control everything, the more everything begins working in your favor. People are going to offer help without you asking. Doors are going to open while you're sleeping. Emails are going to land in your inbox, offering more than you could imagine. And it's not a coincidence, it's not a fluke. It's the evidence of divine provision. You don't need to understand how it will all work. You just need to remain open and willing to receive. Don't shrink back. Don't reject the ease. Don't question the flow. You've worked long enough. You've labored long enough. Now walk into your appointed grace. Walk into the season where work no longer controls your life, where effort no longer defines your worth, where you are valued simply because you exist. This is your divine inheritance, and no one can take it from you. Provision is coming without condition. Favor is coming without explanation, and blessings are coming without burnout. The divine supply chain has been activated, and you are at the center of it. God is not going to let you go back to the old way. You've seen too much, felt too much, evolved too much to return to survival mode. You've outgrown struggle. You've outgrown lack. Your spirit is no longer compatible with small living. Provision is your portion. Ease is your inheritance. Peace is your currency. And joy is the indicator that you are in the right place. If you feel guilt when things become easy, release it. That guilt came from the world, not from God. God is glorified when his children live in peace and overflow. You are not robbing anyone by receiving. You are reflecting heaven's goodness. You are the example of divine provision. The way you live, rest, and receive will become a testimony to others of what happens when someone lets go and lets God be their source. This is not about quitting your job. It's about understanding that your job is not your source. This is not about being passive. It's about being peaceful. There's a difference. Peaceful. People move with clarity. They act when led. They don't panic. They prepare. And that's exactly what you're being trained for. This is the lifestyle of the chosen, walking with trust, receiving with gratitude, and knowing that what is yours will not pass you by. You don't need to strive to earn what God already gave. The moment you stop chasing, everything starts arriving, and it's arriving. Now, chosen one, something sacred is unfolding in the background of your life right now. While others may be scrambling and struggling to make ends meet, you are being drawn into an experience of divine stillness and supernatural favor. You are not being left behind. You are being lifted above. You are not being ignored. You are being protected from old systems that are collapsing. What looks like isolation is actually insulation. What feels like a pause is actually preparation. And what seems like nothing happening is actually heaven orchestrating the extraordinary on your behalf. You've got to let this truth anchor into your soul. You are not behind and you are not alone. You are in divine timing, right? On schedule, with the abundance that's already been commanded to locate you. Don't let the outside noise convince you that you're unproductive because you're not overwork in this season. Your rest is your resistance, your peace is your weapon, and your trust is your proof of alignment. You are not lazy, you are in flow. The world teaches you to grind until you break. Heaven teaches you to rest until you rise. You have chosen the higher path, the one where you don't just survive, you flourish effortlessly. This is the season where miracles show up when you least expect them. Your rent paid without struggle, your needs met without delay, your desires fulfilled without explanation. It's not because you figured it all out, it's because you finally surrendered. And when a chosen one surrenders fully to divine supply, heaven goes to work. Angels are dispatched, opportunities open, people are sent, and resources are magnetized to your energy. You have become a beacon for divine wealth, not just money, but peace, comfort, joy, and sustenance. You're walking proof that favor can accomplish more in a moment than hustle can in a lifetime. Let your mind grasp this. The provision that's coming to you doesn't need your old effort. It requires your new energy, the spiritual energy of trust, surrender, openness, and expectancy. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You don't have to make sense of how it'll happen. The truth is, you're no longer in the realm of reason. You're in the realm of revelation. Heaven is downloading a new financial blueprint into your life. You're not bound to labor-based provision anymore. You're not operating by paycheck to page thinking anymore. You're being trained for kingdom abundance, where provision is perpetual and peace is constant. There will be days ahead where you'll witness things flow into your life with such ease. People around you will start asking questions. How are you doing this? Who's helping you? What's your secret? And you'll know in your spirit it's not a who, it's a what. It's the flow of divine supply that follows the chosen one. You don't need to beg for attention or opportunities. You are the opportunity. Your presence alone opens doors. Your energy alone attracts miracles. God is using your life to show the world what happens when someone decides to trust divine provision above all else. Do not fear the quiet moments. Do not panic in the pauses. Those are not signs of lack. They are signals that provision is forming in silence. The wealth that's coming to you is not being created. It already exists. It's just being redirected into your life money. Already printed accounts, already funded gifts, already wrapped ideas, already anointed. You're not chasing anything. It's already circling you. The more you rest in that knowing, the faster it shows up. This is not a delay. This is divine choreography. You're not late. You're perfectly aligned. There is a flow that begins when you give yourself permission to stop forcing everything, when you stop chasing money and start trusting that money is already assigned to you. Your vibration changes. And when your vibration changes, everything around you responds. You begin to notice things are getting paid off without strain. You notice people offering you blessings without asking you feel a peace you can't explain, and a knowing that you're being carried by something higher than hustle, that's God's provision in motion, and you're not imagining it, it's real. Provision is about more than just having enough. It's about living in overflow. And overflow isn't a luxury for others. It's your new baseline. No more scraping together coins, no more overdrafts, no more financial stress, waking you up in the middle of the night. That era is over. You're stepping into financial rest. And with that rest comes revelation. The money was never the goal, peace was, but now God is giving you both. And here's what's wild. The more you trust in divine provision, the more creative ideas begin to download into you. You start seeing the world differently. You hear whispers of ideas that can generate wealth without struggle. You start writing, speaking, creating and launching from a place of joy, not pressure. You become an open channel for abundance, not a clogged pipe of fear. And the more you follow that joy, the more things multiply. Your peace multiplies, your influence multiplies, your income multiplies, and you're not drained. You're delighted. You will look back on this season and realize it was never about giving up work. It was about releasing the pressure, the toxic kind of work, the soul-crushing kind of effort, the kind that steals your joy and ruins your body. That's the kind of work you'll never have to return to, because now you're aligned with your divine assignment, and your divine assignment comes with divine compensation. What used to take you years will now take weeks. What used to require 10 steps will now need only one. You're walking in heaven's acceleration. Your days of being financially afraid are over. Your days of settling for scraps are done. You are no longer chasing crumbs. You are dining at the table of provision, and this table never runs out every time you think you've reached the end of God's supply. More will appear, a phone call, a deposit, a check in the mail, a gift, an opportunity, a miracle. You'll know it when it happens, because it won't come from where you expected. It will come from heaven's secret channels. That's how you'll know it was never about your effort. It was about your alignment. You don't need to compete. You don't need to perform. You don't need to hustle for a seat at someone else's table. God has prepared a place for you. a place where you don't have to prove your worth, a place where you don't have to pretend you're okay, a place where you're allowed to rest, recover, and receive. That place is here. And it's within you. Provision is not a far-off thing. It's already coded into your reality. The moment you stop striving, you stepped into supply, and it's only going to get better from here. Chosen one, you are not being asked to figure it all out. You're not being asked to plan every detail of how your provision will arrive. You're simply being asked to trust. You're being invited to believe, even when logic tells you it shouldn't work this way, because divine provision doesn't need logic to operate. It only needs your agreement. It's already flowing to you through invisible streams, through people you've never met, through systems that are bending in your favor right now. Even as you sit in stillness, the provision is organizing itself around your name. The universe has your address. Heaven knows your coordinates, and you will not be skipped. There is a shift in the spiritual atmosphere that is rewriting how your life functions. You're not just being provided for, you're being carried. You're not just being supported, you're being elevated. You are being cushioned by grace, supplied by faith, and held by unseen hands that will not let you fall. That uneasy feeling you once had about finances, that gnawing stress about bills, it's dissolving. Now your inner atmosphere is changing. Instead of scarcity, you're filled with certainty. Instead of anxiety, you feel assurance. That's not just your thoughts changing, that's your spiritual position being elevated. This is what happens when you are divinely reassigned. You're no longer required to run the race. The world laid out for you. You're no longer bound to hustle-based rewards. You've been pulled out of the survival system and placed into a spiritual economy where the outcome doesn't depend on how hard you work. It depends on how aligned you are. And you are now aligned. You are aligned with rest. You are aligned with flow. You are aligned with enoughness. The provision is coming, not because you demanded it, but because it was already yours. God is not providing for you based on effort. He is providing for you based on identity. You are His. You are chosen. You are marked for abundance. And your spirit has now remembered that truth. When you come into remembrance of who you are, everything begins to respond. Your energy emits a frequency of royalty. Your presence radiates peace. Your spirit becomes magnetic to miracles. The money doesn't come because you begged. It comes because your soul is in union with divine overflow. You are entering into a level of divine ease that is going to confuse people around you. They will wonder how you're living so freely. They'll question why you're no longer burnt out, but you'll know why, because you left the struggle behind. You dropped the belief that you had to earn your worth, and in doing so, you made room for the divine to take over. You chose peace. You chose trust. You chose to believe that it's possible for everything you need to come without sacrificing everything you love. This is not wishful thinking, it's spiritual reality. You're about to experience supernatural supply that bypasses everything traditional. You're going to receive more rest and more wealth. At the same time, you're going to find that the less you stress, the more things align. The less you push, the more doors open. The less you chase, the more is attracted to you. This is the rhythm of the divine economy, and you are now fully synced with it. The world taught you that rest was dangerous, that if you rested, you'd fall behind. But heaven is teaching you now that rest is not a setback, it's a strategy. You're not behind, you're not losing, you're not disconnected. You're ahead of your old self. You're finally tuned into the truth of divine supply, and that truth will not fail you. That truth will continue to pull more and more into your life until you don't even recognize the old version of yourself that used to worry. Provision will become so normal to you, it won't shock you anymore. It will sustain you. Unexpected deposits, overflowing accounts, free gifts, cancelled debts, opportunities without labor. You'll begin to smile every time it happens, not out of surprise, but out of gratitude, because you know the source. You know that it's not random. You know that this is your portion. This is your divine right, and it can't be blocked, stopped, or stolen, even in moments where it looks like nothing is happening. Something is always moving in your favor. The spiritual world doesn't rest. Angels don't clock out blessings, don't run dry. You are now a recipient of a continual stream of divine provision. You will wake up to good news. You will receive messages that bless you. You will hear from people who want to support you. This is what happens when you step out of striving and into surrender. This is the life that has been prepared for you from the beginning. Do not question it. Do not fight it. Do not sabotage it. Let yourself receive. Let yourself be loved. Let yourself be taken care of by the divine. Let yourself live differently from the world. You don't need to match their pace. You're on a path that few understand, but many will admire, because when they see the favor on your life, they'll begin to ask how they can access that peace, and your life will be the answer. Your peace will be the proof. Your rest will be the revelation. You're not just entering into a new season, you're becoming a new creation, a creation that doesn't panic, doesn't chase, doesn't force, but flows. That's who you are now. You're no longer burdened, you're no longer bound, you're no longer trapped in systems that are built on fear. You are now plugged into a higher system. And in this system, there is no burnout, only breakthrough, no pressure, only peace, no debts, only deposits. And the more you embrace this, the more will come. This is not the end, it's the activation. You've been prepared for this moment. And now the rest of your life is being rewritten. Your finances, your health, your relationships, your schedule, everything is shifting into divine order. You are being surrounded by solutions, covered by grace, guarded by angels, held by God. There is nothing you need to do to make this happen. Just stay in this energy, stay in this knowing, stay in this peace. It's all working for you. Now the provision is permanent, and the flow is just getting started. Chosen. One, you're being upgraded in every sense, in your mindset, your frequency, your standards, and most importantly, your relationship with provision. For so long, you were taught to associate wealth and supply with effort. But now, you're being taught by the divine to associate it with alignment. You are not receiving because you're hustling. You are receiving because you've become available. Your energy is available. Your mind is available. Your spirit is available. And because of that, the universe is pouring resources into your atmosphere that you once thought were unreachable. You are walking into a season where help will appear out of nowhere. You'll see people step forward with exactly what you need. There will be no explanation, only confirmation. Divine assistance will be visible, unexpected cash, business ideas that feel like lightning bolts, property being offered to you, gifts that look too good to be true, but they're not, because they're not random, they're reserved for you. These things have been hidden in plain sight, waiting for your spirit to enter this frequency of receptivity. And now that time has come, the divine did not forget you. The timing wasn't delayed, it was being perfected. You had to be spiritually mature enough to carry this blessing without feeling guilty. You had to be awakened enough to receive without self-sabotage. And now you're no longer wondering if you deserve it. You're no longer playing small. You're no longer making yourself uncomfortable just to make others comfortable. That part of you is gone. What's rising now is your divine self, the version of you that remembers how loved, supported, and surrounded you truly are. This is more than provision. This is divine restoration. All the time you spent worrying, all the years you worked without harvest, all the moments you cried alone, hoping things would change, it's all being redeemed. The tables are turning now, not by chance, but by choice, because you've chosen to believe in a reality where miracles are normal, where being provided for is not rare. It's expected. You've shifted into the miraculous, and miracles will now respond to your energy like metal to a magnet. Don't be surprised when financial freedom starts to find you in ways that defy human logic. The numbers won't always make sense, the timing won't be predictable, but the results will be undeniable. That's how you'll know it's not from this world, it's from heaven, and heaven is not rationing your blessings. Heaven is releasing them. You've suffered enough, you've toiled enough, you've learned the lessons, and now comes the reward of ease, the reward of wealth, the reward of overflow. You don't owe the world an explanation for your blessing. You don't have to justify how God is choosing to favor you. You don't have to apologize for the ease you're stepping into. People might project, they might misunderstand, but that's okay. This blessing wasn't for them to understand, it was for you to experience. because you were there in the darkness. You were there when no one saw your pain. You were there through the silent seasons, and now you are here in the spotlight of divine provision. Let yourself enjoy it. Let yourself be surprised. Let yourself wake up in awe at how good life is becoming. You are no longer living from emergency to emergency. You are living from overflow to overflow. The problems that used to terrify you will become things you solve with grace. You'll realize the only thing that changed was your belief, your decision to no longer live under the law of pressure, but under the power of providence. And that decision is changing your life faster than any amount of labor ever could. There is no shame in being supported by the divine. There is no guilt in receiving from God. You are not stealing from anyone by being blessed. You are not taking someone else's portion. The truth is there's more than enough for everyone, and you are finally receiving what was always meant for you. You're not receiving a handout, you're receiving a heavenly inheritance, an inheritance that was prepared for you before you ever struggled, before you ever cried, before you ever knew what lack was. That's why this provision feels so surreal. It's not just money, it's not just material, it's healing. Healing for every moment you felt alone, healing for every time you went to sleep worried, healing for the version of you that was always in survival mode. That version of you is being laid to rest, and the divine version of you is rising up, empowered, favored, and fully funded. Yes, fully funded by God, fully supported by unseen systems, and fully aligned with what is good, true, and beautiful. The fear of not having enough is leaving your body. The anxiety of being unsupported is being replaced with the knowing that you are guided. You're not just walking through life, you are being walked through life, carried, elevated, honored, and the provision that's on the way will be so abundant, you'll never think about hustling again. You'll begin to build your life around peace, around passion, around joy, no longer around bills, stress, or deadlines. Your calendar will be filled with moments of rest, moments of beauty, and moments of miraculous surprises you will be provided for in ways that seem tailor-made, because they are the money you need, covered, the support you need, delivered, the direction you need, revealed. Your needs have been known in the spirit far longer than you've spoken them, and now the time has come for manifestation. You will witness supply rush into your life in such a way that your only response will be tears of gratitude, and those tears won't be from pain, they'll be from the sudden realization that you are truly, deeply, finally cared for, not by the systems of man, not by institutions, but by the source of everything. The divine current of love is now your bank, the currency of heaven is now your paycheck, and you won't have to punch a clock to receive it, because it's not earned by time, it's aligned through truth. And your truth is this: you are meant to live, provided for, protected and peaceful. You will look around your life soon and be in awe. The clutter will be gone, the chaos will be quiet, the tension will be replaced with tranquility, and the most amazing part, you won't even know how it all changed so fast, but you will know who changed it. You'll know that heaven stepped in and rewrote your story, that your name was whispered in places you've never been, that your need was answered before it was even spoken, that the doors you've been knocking on are now opening on their own. This is not fantasy. This is faith in motion, and your life is the living evidence chosen. One, there's something you need to understand now more than ever. Your provision is not conditional. It's not dependent on who likes you. It's not tied to your resume. It's not based on your qualifications or your performance. It's based on your position in the spirit. And right now, your position is one of divine alignment. You are standing in the current of unlimited supply, and there is no force powerful enough to dam the flow that's headed your way. Not even your doubts, not even your fears, not even your past mistakes. None of that can interrupt what God is releasing over you. Now you've already crossed over. Even if you don't see it yet with your natural eyes, your spirit has already arrived. You've moved out of the land of striving and into the realm of receiving the old you. The one who used to feel guilty about not working enough, not doing enough, not achieving enough. That version has served its purpose. You needed that version to survive, but now you're being called to thrive.